Well, welcome everyone to tonight's Awakened Business Masterclass. We host this each month as a way just to create education, inspiration, motivation for those of us who are conscious leaders, healers, and coaches. And so each month I invite three of our executive contributors from Awakened Magazine to come and share their wisdom in kind of a TEDx amount of time. And then we have some time as a roundtable to ask some questions. And so whether you're joining us live or via replay. It's great to have you. Thank you guys for coming. Just excited to be with you. Tonight we have three more amazing contributors. So tonight we're going to begin with Dr. Asia Taylor. She's going to be helping us look back over 2024 and look ahead 2025 through some meditation. I'm sure she'll explain what she's doing. She's a sound and energy healer, spiritual guide, and founder of the Creatrix Academy. And as I mentioned, she's a contributor with Awakened Magazine. And Juliana Erickson in Nashville, she's a positive mindset coach and rebirthing breathwork coach. And I love my conversation with her, learning all about breathwork in the water. So good. She's going to help us looking back on 2024. And then Melissa Minnick is in Austin. She is a Sacred Soul alchemist and founder of the Sacred Soul Alchemy Mystery School. And she's going to be helping us look forward to 2025. So I'm really excited. I love spending this time of the year looking back, looking forward. And so thank you guys for your investment in us as a group and all those who are watching the replay. So Asia, I'll turn it over to you. And by the way, those of you who are joining us, you can pop questions into the chat and we'll have time to answer those at the end. And you just have those questions in mind. So go ahead, Asia.
Okay, it's hilarious. The moment that you said my name, the dogs started barking and I was about to unpress the audio. I'm going to press this original sound for musicians and turn it on and see if you guys can hear this. Otherwise, I will not use it. Okay, good. I'm a sound healer, and so I like to add in some sound in my meditations and the work that I do with my clients. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm still new to the Awakened group here, and so I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be able just to hold space for other enlightened, awakened soulpreneurs. And I consider this a very important time of year. Both for our business and for our personal lives. And I take this part of the year very seriously in the wheel of the year. And, as a time to kind of close out and start new. And so what I wanted to do was work a meditation that allows us to close out. I'm so distracted by them. I'm sorry. That allows us to close out and honor the journey that we had for 2024. It was a very important year and so much happened just for myself. So, being able to close that out and then prepare ourselves for our new opportunities that are happening in 2025. So 1 second, I'm going to mute this and yell at my dogs.
In the most conscious way, I'm going to yell at my dogs.
With love and light, I have yelled at my dogs. Now I'm ready.
You can also turn the performance audio off and then turn it on right before you do the, chimes or something if that's...
Is it bad sound right now?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. What I would like, because I'll just turn it off after I'm done. But what I would like for us to do is to just kind of settle in, find a comfortable position, whether you're lay down or lay back. Just kind of lay back, relax, finding the space beneath you, finding that connection to the ground beneath you. And close your eyes and gently take a deep breath in through the nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold for a moment, and then when you are ready, exhale slowly through your mouth. And I invite you to do this pattern for a couple of times, just to gather yourself in this space and know that this time, this space is just for you. Now I would love for you to imagine that the bottom half of your body is growing roots, and these roots are extending out from the base of your spine, reaching deep into the earth. I invite you to feel that stability and the support of the ground beneath you. And with each breath that you take now, draw in the energy from Mother Gaia, from Earth, feeling it rise through your body, grounding you into this moment right now. Now, as you continue to breathe deeply, I would like to bring to mind for you the experiences that you had for 2024. Visualize these moments of growth, any challenges you faced, and the triumphs that you've achieved. I want you to acknowledge any lessons that you've learned, both big and small. And allow yourself to feel gratitude for each of these experiences, knowing that they've shaped you into the leader that you are today. Now, I would love for you to imagine a gentle breeze surrounding you, carrying away any lingering doubts or regrets from the past year. With each exhale, imagine the breeze blows away, releasing what no longer serves you. I invite you to embrace acceptance and forgiveness, creating space for new beginnings. I invite you to turn your focus to the year ahead, visualizing 2025 as a blank canvas, ready to be painted with your intentions and your dreams. What do you wish to manifest in your spiritual business? What do you wish to see in your personal life? I invite you to see these visions clearly in your mind's eye, feeling the excitement and the possibility that they bring. Now, while you're thinking of all the possibilities that come with 2025, I invite you to affirm your readiness to step into this new year with confidence and purpose. Now, silently or aloud, I invite you to repeat the following affirmations. I am open to new opportunities and growth. I trust in my intuition and inner wisdom. I am aligned with my highest purpose and vision. As we conclude this meditation, I invite you now to take a moment to thank yourself for this time of reflection and intention setting. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room. You wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your neck, and when you are ready, open your eyes. I invite you to carry peace and clarity of this meditation with you, and I'm always wishing you many continued blessings. So Juliana is up next, and she's going to talk about 2024.
Yes. Thank you, Asia. That was lovely. Some of the things that Asia just talked about, I'm going to go into a little bit more depth. We were talking about, we were parallel. We were thinking along the same lines, Asia. So I'm Juliana. As I said, I'm a positive mindset coach for women and a forgiveness author, a book that called The Other F Word, 7 Days to Forgiving Anyone. So I will be mentioning forgiveness in a minute. But before that, as the year comes to a close, it's a perfect time to pause and reflect and gather the wisdom that we've gained in the previous year. So reflection is not just about looking back, but it's about honoring where you've been, celebrating how far you've come, and then using those insights to step into 2025 with clarity and purpose. So in these few minutes, we're going to explore why reflection is such a powerful tool for growth, of course, and then how to turn your experiences from 2024 into opportunities. And then by the end, you're going to feel a welcomeness for the new year with confidence and focus and a heart full of possibilities. So that's what we're going to do in the next few minutes. So reflection. So it allows you to tune into the experiences that shaped you for this year. A time to celebrate your victories, even the small ones. Some people think they have to be big ones to be reputable or meaningful. That's not true. Life is full of small steps forward. And actually, they're really the more important ones because they end up being a lot more important. So understand that what challenged you is just as important as what was a positive outcome, because they will all connect you to your goals and your values. So let's take a moment and I'm a breathwork coach, so I have to include breathwork in everything I do because I think it helps us think better. So we're going to slow down and breathe. Just take 3 conscious breaths. And these are relaxation breaths that I learned from Dr. Andrew Weil. And it's 4 seconds in through the nose, 4 seconds out through the mouth. I'll count and then you just breathe. You can have your eyes open or closed. All right. So nose, 2, 3, 4, mouth, 2, 3, 4, nose, 2, 3, 4, mouth, 2, 3, 4, nose, 2, 3, 4, mouth, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now that you've cleansed your mind a little bit, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And with each one, I'd like you to take a breath and really think about it. I'm going to give you a minute to come up with the answer because you have to go through all the months and all the experiences you've had. So the first one is, what are you most proud of from this year? So think about things you're proud of. And again, small ones count too. If you were able to you get up at 6 a.m. and meditate for 15 minutes when you've wanted to do it for years, I call that a win. And it's not small, it's big. So what's one thing that you'd like to remember that you are proud of for this year? And if you want to record it, you can write it down. All right. And now the next one is a challenge. What challenge comes to mind? Maybe one that you really learned something from that was memorable. Make sure this one especially makes people like shallow breathe or even hold their breath. So notice what you're doing with your breathing. So nice, big, continuous breaths. Okay. All right. And then the third one is, how have you grown emotionally, personally, or professionally? All three or just one category, but just how have you grown because of the work you do? Anybody want to either share or put in the chat something that they hadn't thought of before? They want to make sure they remember. I can tell you one thing with me. I did not focus on what was the most important with me. I had a side business that I've been wanting to work on, and I put effort into that and did not put effort into my breathwork business as I should have. And it showed up like crazy I will never do that again. I'm going to focus on one thing at a time. So that's what I learned. I learned that big time. So it was a failure of sorts, but it was a win too, because it all came out in the end. But I had to really come in for the save for that one. But that was a big lesson for myself. Okay, so each year we have ups and downs, no problem. Ups and like I was just mentioning with mine. But within those challenges are powerful lessons waiting to be uncovered. So maybe 2024 pushed you out of your comfort zone or showed you what's really important that you may have been overlooking. So instead of lingering on what you did that didn't go unplanned, focus on what it's taught you. So that's the biggest lesson you can get from lessons is don't keep beating yourself up for it. What can you do differently? How can you learn from it? How can you expand from it? What else could you learn from it? So, for example, a financial hiccup could help you become a better budgeter. Like maybe your budgeting habits need improvement. So, a hiccup for budgeting or spending too much in a certain category, that would be a good thing for you to learn. Or a strained relationship that might teach you that maybe you need to set some more healthy boundaries, and that's in personal and business, of course. Missing a goal could teach you patience and the power of persistence. Or maybe you're giving too much time to your family, to your work and not your family. I mean, there's just all kinds of things, but the idea is instead of staying in, I can't believe I did that again, or why did I do that? Just notice what could you learn from it, smooth that out, give yourself some grace. So as you write those little lessons down, they're nuggets that you can take into 2024 with you. And they're reminders of the growths and the ability to overcome challenges in your life. So as you overcome them, be sure and give yourself pats on the back. I like to have little celebrations along the way, not just big ones like graduation or birthdays, but I mean, even small goals like, oh, I planned on having 20 people in my program. Yay, I got 20. So get a massage, go take a couple of girlfriends out for dinner, whether, but really celebrate. It's otherwise you're just like a gerbil, over and over again, just never getting to where you're going. And that's frustrating to humans and animals, by the way. So don't do that to yourself. Celebrate. Okay. So then you've got gratitude, just like you were talking about, Asia. So gratitude changes everything. So when you reflect on 2024, take time to appreciate the people and the moments and even the tough experiences that brought you to the unexpected blessings, because they're there. And it's so lovely to look back and find out the hidden blessings that are underneath some dark rocks that you thought, oh, that's never going to turn into anything. And if you just have patience, it will, just faith. So gratitude helps you see the good, lifts your spirits, and it fills your heart with hope for what's to come. So a simple way to make gratitude as part of your day, I don't know, I shouldn't say probably. Most likely you've all tried gratitude. Some people do gratitude for a while and then they forget it. But it's just a wonderful way to add energy to your life and like grease to everyday monotony. And that's 3 times. If you can come up with 3 things each day to write down in your gratitude journal. It's just, then the more you do, the more you're grateful for things, the more you're going to find things to be grateful for, and the lighter and the sweeter your life will become. And then I have to mention forgiveness because, like I said, forgiveness coaching is a big part of what I do. So if there's one thing you could do for yourself at the year end, I recommend forgiveness. And forgiveness, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean right or wrong, good or bad. It just means to let go, to untie. That's all it means, just to let go. It's about freedom. And so the deal is start small, forgive yourself for a little mistake. Start there. It doesn't have to be, forgive big ones. It could be small ones, but the more, it's like a muscle. The more you get used to it, because one of my mindset things I like to bless them, change me is one of the ways I like to get it out of that thing, like, but I was right, I should have, he was wrong. And so it doesn't matter, just let it go. A lot of times, just let it go. Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And that just really changes things. So, let's see what I was going to say. Yeah, it's a practice. It's not a one-time event. It's a practice. It's empowering, it's strengthening, and it's life-giving. I want to share something with you I did last week. For 13 years, I've held something in my heart that feels icky. I did something 13 years ago that I regret, and I can't believe I did it. I did it. What can I say? It was mean. It was not nice to this couple. And I was in a bad place and I just did it. And I never said I'm sorry. And it was just always kind of hanging. And when I think about them or I think about that, I would feel it just took my peace away in that moment. And I don't like every day my measure of a good day is I measure it against, is it bringing me peace or not? And when I would have thought of that trip with them or the thoughts, it would make me feel icky. So I finally did it. I finally wrote them an apology letter. And I sent it out last week. And I'll tell you, I didn't want anything from them. I didn't ask. I said, in fact, I started it. I'm not doing this for anything. Please don't even think about sending, but I just want you to know I'm sorry. I wrote them a little explanation and sorry. Anyway, I just want you to know that things like that, they doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't even need to write it to the person if you don't want, but maybe write it to the person and don't put the address on and just put it in the mail, but get it off your chest. Whatever you can do, just get it off your chest, free yourself. It's a great way to enter the new year. Okay, so let's say, all right. So let the triumphs of 2024 remind you of your strengths. So focus on what you are good at, what blessings you've accumulated, those gratitudes. So do more and more of the joy and the building up, because what you focus on expands. So focus on the good, focus on what you can do well. What you've done poorly or made mistakes fix them. And like I did with my letter, or like you may have messed up a couple of things last year, find another way to do them and just keep on going. So I'd love to hear about your reflections and your resolutions. Maybe you can share them in the Awakenings Facebook page, and we can share each other on by, what we're going to do with with the 2024 accomplishments. Anyway. Just wanted to say thank you, David, and thank you all for listening to me for a few minutes. I wish you all a beautiful new year, and be nice to yourselves.
Thank you, Juliana. That was so wonderful, and just such a beautiful expression of looking back over 2024. And I love that I'm getting to talk about 2025 with you. What we are talking about in my community is 2025. We're calling it your quantum year. So I am a oracle and a channel, but I am also getting a PhD in the science of consciousness and quantum physics. And so I channel all of this wisdom and bring it together. And when we think quantum literally means it's a discrete quantity of energy that's proportionate in magnitude to the frequency of the radiation it represents. So think of that. So it's this minute energy, but depending on the radiation, right? If you radiate something, it magnitudes that frequency. And so for a quantum year, what we're looking at is like, how can I create a quantum leap? So the three things that I want to share with you today are about sacred intention, bending reality and what I call quantum jumping. And so the first step that I find that is really powerful in what we do with our community is we create our year with a sacred intention. And we actually have a 7-step process into creating sacred intentions, because we all have heard of resolutions. We've all heard of like all these things that we never really do. But if I create an intention that has a frequency that I can radiate with that, then I can create a quantum leap in my life that will allow me to literally bend reality. And so this idea of, and this I've done for myself. Let me tell you a little bit about my backstory to understand. So my friends call me the most interesting woman in the world. I have walked away from 2 7-figure businesses in my life. I have been to 57 countries. I have been an international drug trafficker, and I have also spoke all over the world and helped heal the world. Right. So I have literally come from the depths over here and created a quantum leap. And I did that because I shifted timelines more than once in my life. And every time I would shift a timeline, something new would have to show up and I would have to create that. But what we've been taught, it is very interesting. We have the secret that teaches us about the law of attraction, which is a really powerful law, but there's deeper understanding than these other laws. So law of attraction is actually what we call a level 2 law when we look at quantum physics. So level 2 law of the manifestation says that if I vibrate, right? If I am vibrating at a certain frequency, I will attract to me the frequency of this thing. Well, in quantum physics, what we know to be true is this idea of what we call retrocausality. And retrocausality says that your future is affecting you as much as your past. And so therefore, if I can actually go into my future and pick a point in time in my highest destiny, instead of having to vibrate at that frequency and attract this thing and have it pull towards me and have to figure out how to stay in a certain high vibe vibration, I can go into the future. I can plant that in, and it will literally pull me towards this. Now, they have done this in actual scientific studies where 30 years later, they have done a study where they have had people pray for people that were in the hospital 30 years prior, and they don't know. It's a blind study. And when they opened that study up, all of the people that were prayed for were the ones that survived and had the experiences coming out of it compared to the other ones, right? So this is the actual way that we can work with this. And so the third step after manifestation, which is where the world has been in the 3D, very much this manifestation place, we're now working into what we call the law of emergence. And the law of emergence says that from within you emerges, because you are the channel and the oracle, from within you emerges the reality of your soul's calling out and around you. And that is really what we want to create. When I'm manifesting, I'm doing it from my ego self, from this place that says, here I am, and I'm going to attract this thing to me that I want. When something emerges from within, it's coming from that soul's point and then allows it. But to be able to use the law of emergence, I must clear and heal everything that's a distortion in my field that is getting in the fucking way, right? All these things that are getting in the way, and we can see in the energy field. I'm actually working with DNA right now and looking at how energy heals DNA and how we're moving it and unwinding it. And what we know is you can see pockets in the DNA, you can see pockets in the energy field, and that is your trauma, that is your stuff, that is your mind, all of these things that are getting in the way of that. But if we can literally learn to radiate, right? Radiate from within at the frequency of the future that we are destined to have from our soul's view, it will align to us and we will walk into it. So how do I do that? How do we do this? So one of the steps is when I talk about bending reality. So I was at a conference just a couple of weeks ago, and we had to bend spoons. Have you ever seen somebody, do the spoon bending with their mind, right? Where they bend this spoon, right? So I'm sitting at this conference and I'm like, well, I'm an energy healer and I believe in quantum physics and all this. I better be able to bend this damn spoon. I was like, but I didn't think I could. And I was like, I tried physically with my hand. I couldn't do it. But I knew how to use my mind to go into the quantum void and into that field, and to have such an amount of focus that I was able to go into the wave and turn particles into energy, because everything, quantum physics, the unified field, everything is energy. And when I did that, the spoon melted, right? It melted. And so what I want to share with that, when bending reality, the challenge with people and creating their intentions for the next year is they create a sacred intention. And then what do? They think about all the other things, the worry, the guilt, the shame, the stuff. Instead, And so instead, if you were to literally work into the quantum void, take 15 minutes a day, and all you do is focus in on that sacred intention and put that into a wave, there is no way that this reality cannot happen for you. It will literally show up. It will emerge from within you. But again, looking at how do I heal those past wounds, right? You have to address and heal the old stories, the experiences that are in your field. And then that allows you to align from within to a future potential. When I take people through the process of doing our quantum jumping and our time bending work, I tell them, you are not creating from your conscious mind. You are not creating from the ego that says, I want this thing. I want you to become completely empty. And we're going to take you into the future and you're going to see what's there that your soul wants you to have. Now, what happens when we do this is, I call it, there's always darkest before the dawn. Everybody's like, I want to have this thing or this ascension. What looks like your life starts crumbling sometimes, right? People, places, things will start to just disappear out of your life because you've now aligned to this thing, because it's shedding those pieces that are not aligned with your soul path. So sometimes it can look really challenging, right? It can look really difficult to have the things that we want, or the things that we think that we are wanting to create. So quantum jumping is a technique, and it allows you to connect with your future self and access the knowledge, the skills, and the potentials that you possess in a different timeline, that the one that is meant to be for your soul's timeline. So from that space, the things that are supposed to align for you start to fall in. And what else happens with that is you have gifts and knowing and things that start to pop in from other lifetimes, from other space, from other dimensions into time and reality that come here. And some of that may sound like, oh, wow, woo woo or this, but it's actually based deeply in string theory and quantum physics. And so we can allow ourselves to use these processes to shift ourselves. So then you have this potential that is there, but then you get to consciously align to it and focus on it every day. So what I want you to do for just 2 minutes, I got about 2 minutes left. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on a feeling for 2025. What do you want to feel? Do you want to feel peace? Do you want to feel joy? Do you want to feel bliss? Like, what is the feeling that you have? Just feel it in your body and tell me, where in your body do you feel it? What color is it? And what direction does it move? Is it up and down, swirling in and out, pulsing? And then just start to turn the volume up on that, bigger and brighter and more till it gets a 9 or a 10. And when you go to create your sacred intention for 2025, do it from this feeling, from this place, and not from your mind. Allow your soul to just drop in and show you what is right for you. May 2025 be your best year yet. May it be full of magic and miracles. And may you have a quantum year where you quantum leap into your highest destiny timeline. Thank you so much for letting me share today.
Thank you, Melissa. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to slowly open them. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Asia. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Melissa. We've got about 20 minutes for some, probably 15 minutes or so of Q&A. And so because we do have a smaller group tonight, if you want to just unmute yourself to ask a brief question of a particular individual, or all of them, feel free. You maybe even use the raise the hand feature or just raise your physical hand. But I'll jump in and get us started. So, Juliana, you touched base on this briefly, but I really like your approach to forgiveness. And I just want to make sure that I want to hear just a little bit more from you on this. When sometimes it can feel difficult to forgive someone in our life, right? A particular person who's harmed us, or maybe even it's difficult for us to forgive ourselves. You mentioned it briefly, but I'd love to hear once again, how do I get started if it just feels overwhelming?
Yeah. Well, you get started by knowing you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. If it's you being upset with you being upset with a former boss, an ex-wife, a friend that, betrayed you, those are all really horrible. But when you forgive them, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. Because I know people who are still angry at someone who died 20 years ago. That person isn't even around anymore, yet this person is still feeling that, that anger. And remember, that anger is full of cortisol. Cortisol is probably the worst thing you could do for your body. So you literally are drinking poison. You're poisoning your body physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all of it. So how to start is get it that you're doing it for yourself. It's a self-centered thing to do. And when you can turn that around, that you're not doing it for the other person, you're not saying they're right. You're not even expecting them, like even if they killed someone, raped them, like whatever, let the justice take care of that. You're responsible for your interaction with your part of it. That's it. So you're doing it for you. You're doing it for freedom. Yep. That's how to start.
The other thing that's so powerful, the other element that I heard you talk about when I interviewed you, was to start small. That maybe you don't start with the big thing, but you start a little something,
Yep. Yeah. There was a man who was working in my house and found out that his son had died in Kentucky, but he wasn't allowed to go to the funeral because this man had divorced the wife of this young man's mother and all that. And so the whole family was mad at this guy, Mike, the carpenter. And he was not willing to apologize because he had done all these terrible things to his former wife. They all had a reason to be mad at him. But he, in the meantime, is not able to go to his son's funeral, feels all this regret. You could see it in his face. I mean, he just looked like dead man walking. It was terrible. But he was carrying all that guilt and shame. And I said, you have to forgive yourself. You have to, how are they going to forgive you when you're not even forgiving yourself? So start with you. And then it goes out from there. But you're right, David, start small. But most of the time it's ourselves. We want to blame other people for how bad we feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody got a question? I always have tons of questions. So if anybody has their hand up or something.
I do. I want to say something to Melissa. I love what you were talking about. And I know what you're saying. And I live that. And as far as the future and coming back, I did that actually a year and a half ago. And it was remarkable what happened in my life. Never in a million years did I think what would happen happened. And it's totally, I felt it. I lived it every day. I was imagining being in the future, looking back. It happened beyond my dreams. So thank you. I love what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I really think, and this is the key is, we are just so programmed to think about all the other things. And when you actually look at how much on a daily basis are you really focusing into the dream, into the thing that you want to create, into that space, but not doing it from this place of like the ego saying, I want this thing, but from this true alignment with inside, it can completely change. And so actually one of the things that I'm doing for my community is we're actually doing the first 30 days of January, 15 minutes a day, every day coming in. And I have different activations and techniques and things that I'm teaching for 30 days about how to just stay in that vibration, in that experience. But we're starting it with on the 1/1 portal, which is, January 1st at 1:11 p.m. We're doing a 2-hour sacred intention setting ceremony and celebration, because I think that that's really powerful. And I don't know if I can, but if you want, that's completely free. It's free to anyone that wants to show up. I can share that with you guys for anybody that wants to come in and start their new year setting sacred intention and working. We're going to be doing some time bending stuff in that class to teach like the processes. So yeah.
Yeah, if you want to give me the link and I can send it out with a replay, that'd be great. Melissa, I wanted to ask you to tease apart the difference, but how do I know if I'm longing for something from that ego space, right? I really want this in my life and I'm trying to attract it versus I'm in the future aligning this with my soul and it's like pulling me toward it. You know what I mean? Like help me tease, like how would I know the difference?
Sometimes you're not going to know the difference, right? Like there is a point, of course, like, I mean, if I want to go on a vacation, in 3 weeks, obviously that's me right here in the space saying, I want to have that vacation. But what it is when you step into that future reality and it's coming and it's pulling you back and it is what you will feel is instead of it being this thing where I'm trying to create so hard and I have to like, I want abundance, right? I want to make $1 million. I want to make $1 million. It becomes about the frequency underneath. So it is not actually ever about I'm building this big business or I'm making $1 million or I'm doing this, but it is about what I've come to is for me, it's service and devotion and that feeling of like, you know what? If I don't make another fucking dime, I know the universe has my back and I'm going to be okay, but I'm still going to be doing the things and the processes that I'm doing. And so it's an actual feeling. Oh, here, I got it for you. This is one of the things that I share with my community. When we're excited about something, right? When we're excited and we have this thing, and I want to create this thing, we get this excitement. When something feels natural, like natural means I know tomorrow that the sun is going to come up. There's no question. It is the truth of who I am because the sun's going to come up tomorrow. When something becomes so natural to you that it is the vibration of who you are, instead of it being like, oh my God, I got this thing and I'm going to create it and all these things. Like, yes, we want to have vibrations and fun and joy and pleasure and all of those things in there. But when it drops in and you just know the knowingness, that is when you know that it is beyond just this moment of I'm trying to create this thing. So it's an actual different feeling in the body. And so that's the practice of learning that. So first you get excited, you get the joy and things, but when you have this place and you have a knowingness, like I opened the mystery school this year. I like to be clear, I didn't want to do it, right? Like I had the knowingness and it came to me and I was like, I don't even know what do you mean? What do you mean? But it's when I'm stepping out and doing things that I would never even consider doing that then when it happens, everything just flows, right? And there's a knowingness. So sometimes if I'm creating it from here, I know that I want this thing, but sometimes things will drop in and you'll get this idea and you'll be like, no. I literally, when I was writing my book, the last chapter came to me and I was talking to my guides and I looked and I'm sitting in bed with me every night before I go to bed because I wrote 8 chapters in 8 days because I lost the entire book the day it was 2 days before it was due. Long story. I literally looked at my guide and I was like, nope, not doing it, and went to sleep. Woke up the next day and I was like, okay, what are we writing today? I got the same message again. They're like, just write it and see if it fits. Now, let me tell you, if it was me, ego and me, that chapter would not be in the book, but it was the right chapter to be in the book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm hearing, that I'm going to feel that difference. I like that word, the natural. I wrote that down. It feels natural. It just feels like, yep, I like this is going to this is happening.
Yeah.
As opposed to
with that chapter in the book, I knew it was the right one, but it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, or in some of these other things we created is like, there is this feeling of just like knowingness and it drops in you and it may be the antithesis to what you really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that it's actually what you think in your mind, but then when you go off, start walking the path and you start to, I see now why.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Cool. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
That's a good segue for a question I've got for Dr. Asia. So speaking of knowing, Dr. Asia, when did you know that you wanted to become a sound healer? And by the way, I love those chimes that you played during meditation. Thank you.
Hey, Sandy. I didn't know that I wanted to be a sound healer. Like I I still didn't know that I want to be a sound healer. It's just life has me as a sound healer right now, and sound just comes naturally for me. When I met you before, I never even mentioned sound healer, before. It was like, hey, I'm going to be this, priestess goddess type person. And sound healing was not ever on the radar. And then somehow, we went through, energy. I did energy work. And then next thing I know, I'm a sound healer now. So I don't know. I must have jumped a portal, like Melissa said. Like, so here I am. So here we are.
I love it.
Asia. Asia, a question for you. How would you encourage us? So we've got Melissa who's telling us 15 minutes a day, focusing on that thing in the future, see it, experience it, feel it, right? Envision it, have it being pulled toward you. If there was a practice that you would encourage us every day, Asia, to kind of work into 2025, and maybe it's just something that you personally are working into your life. Doesn't need to be prescriptive. It can be descriptive of your life. What would you encourage us with?
I'm not gonna lie. The feeling it for 15 minutes, that's what I do. I'm in the morning, that's my ritual. I hang out with, what I call my goddess gang in the mornings. And, part of that is that feeling being, the being what you're wanting. And I tell people that story that at one point I did not look like this. But I had drawn a picture of myself with locks, that were golden. And somehow over the last 4 years now, I have, golden locks, and, I get to do what I want to do. And, it's just, that's what I do. Like Melissa, I'm big on quantum jumping. And like I mentioned, the seeing, the idea that what you're looking for is already there. I did not experience that totally and fully until out of nowhere. Now I have a space for practicing on my property that exists, that was there. It just, I didn't see it, and now it's there. So I'm big on that. That's what I do also.
And I'm going to say for Asia, what I'm going to go to her gift, which is the sound healing. I use sound and frequency and sound healing every day. Every day. It is so powerful for healing and for creating those vibrations. So she's talking about what I'm going to go back to what she does and be like, that's such a powerful practice, and something that if you add sound and frequency into your work every day, it just allows that energy in your system to shift and change. So
it's very hard not to be a sound and energy healer together. Like they once you start with one, like I started with energy, and then sound kind of just happened. So they're pretty interchangeable. They're working with the same dynamics. So yeah.
How about you, Juliana? If there was a practice, I'm going to guess what you're going to say, but I'm going to let you say it anyway, that you would encourage us to kind of integrate in 2025 into our lives, what would that be?
Well, I have a power package I do in the morning. I start the day every morning, feet on the ground, and I put my arms out and I go, thank you for this day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I say that to the universe. So I'm sending my energy out, and that's my intention. It's like, I love being alive. I love being here. Thank you for me. Thank you for everything around me. And then I do my breathing, and then I do Course in Miracles. So that's my 15 minutes every day.
Mm-hmm. I know Course in Miracles has been a big part of your life for quite some time. Can you tell us, like, why? Like, for those of us, I have a copy. I've read a little bit of it, but I haven't dived in.
It's my baby. I mean, I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, and it's my daily practice. And I was an ordained elder with the Presbyterian Church. Okay. That was my background. It's awesome, great stuff, but I never I just couldn't get into it. This Course in Miracles is not a religion. It's a way of getting your life right. And it explains everything beautifully. It's sacred. That this world is a dream, that we live in this dream world. And, and it goes along so much with everything we're talking about is that, we get to decide. Joy is a choice, learn how to choose. The energy, there's only love. Our purpose is forgiveness in this life, means to let go, because the more you let go, then your divine self is just a beautiful living, not eternal being. That's what we are. And we just forgot what we are. And so that's pretty much what the course is. I love it. Yeah.
I thought you're getting me nervous, Sarah. In the beginning, you're saying it's how you get your life right. I was like, all of a sudden she's going to tell me to get right or you're going to get left.
No.
Behind. G, you got a question for us?
Yeah, I have a question for Melissa about bending reality. And, I'm very familiar with the law of attraction and being on that frequency. Do you find that being on the law of emergence is a different frequency? And if it is, do they ever collide or cancel each other out? You know what I'm saying?
No, so they're a blending, right? So there's these different levels and you're never just in one, right? Think of the unified field. Everything exists in all potentials and possibilities that then vibrates into these experiences once it is observed, right? Right. And so in this, when we have, so there's 4 different levels, right? We have our victim mode, which is what everybody, somebody starts in, and then we get into this manifestation mode. We move into that. And then we work into this mode, what we call the channel, and then into the mode of being, which being is when you are in that unity consciousness, in that cosmic consciousness kind of place, and you're completely aligned. But we've all had moments or, sparks of like this thing happening or sparks of that. And so you're never like stuck in one stage. And like, if you're in one stage, that's all that there is. You can still use law of attraction to, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying don't use it, right? Like if there's something I want to create and I want to create it from my conscious mind here, that's okay. I can still want things. But on that the law of emergence is this greater soul level of how do I not just create and attract the things that I want. Listen, I've attracted to myself houses, cars, surfboards, all sorts of cool shit, right? Like I love those things too, relationship. But there's also this piece of with this emergence when I then what you start to see is once you have all the things or have played with the manifestations, you get to a point where you're like, yeah, but am I fulfilled? And then there's like, oh, now I want to drop into this alignment of like, what is really calling to me? What is it that I'm here for on this deeper soul's purpose and align with that? And that doesn't mean just because I work now in this mainly as a channel in this law of emergence that I don't still have other things that I want that I'm like going to try to manifest in my life, right? Like, so they do play with each other and they don't cancel each other out. They're just different properties. All of the laws of nature are all there to support us, and we can play and use all of them in different ways. It's just good to know, it's good to know I'm purposely using this to create an attraction, but what else is there for me? It's what I'm asking you is to dive deeper even into yourself and see what else is there that's beyond the things that we thought that we wanted.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah.
I know Miranda, it looks like she had to take off. And so we all have everybody who's on this call has different programs and offerings, and I want to be very conscious of our time. So Melissa, you've shared quite a bit about your community and you've got this link here. So I want to point people to that link, and I'll also send that out in the replay. So that's up a few deals. You'll also see in the chat links to Asia Taylor. Asia, tell us about what you do and how people can connect with you.
I just do sound and energy healing. I have what's called the Divine Path reading that I do online, and it's virtual. It's a conglomeration. I'm calling it a consulting now. It's a conglomeration of a bunch of different things. Sandy did one. It's a bunch of different things. It's basically when you're looking for where should I be pointing my journey, what road should I be going down? It's kind of that consultation to get you like going down that journey. But you can find me every Monday pretty much on YouTube. I do a Metaphysical Mondays live stream. So that's probably the best way to just hang out. I just want to hang out with people now. So
I love it. I love it. And dogs too.
and dogs. Yes, mostly dogs.
That's great. Juliana, you've put a couple of links here in the description as well. Has your website changed to Juliana Coaching instead of the Joyful
Yeah.
Life Project?
Yeah. I mean, it'll redirect from Joyful Life, but it's Juliana Coaching because I want to make sure people know I don't only do rebirthing breath work. It's a whole program. So
Okay, cool. I'm not sure that Joyful Life Project URL is working for you right now, so you might want to check on that.
Juliana Coaching isn't working.
No, Joyful Life Project. So you don't look right now. I'm just
Okay.
telling you like afterwards. Yeah. So you've got a couple of great programs here. Just real briefly, Juliana, tell us how people can interact with you.
Yeah. I no offense, guys, but I'm a life coach for women. So I have an annual program, a 4-month life mastery program for women, and it's in Nashville, but it's also on Zoom. And it's limited to 12 women. It's everything you'd want to know how to make your life awesome. So everything, intergenerational healing, codependency, healthy boundaries, joy, anyway, everything. And then the water breathwork weekend is one David was talking about, where our first experience of intimacy was inside our mother. The prenatal psychology is what I'm a specialist in. So what was going on in your mother's life when she was pregnant with you is imprinted in you. So our relationships are an extension of that. And so with a snorkel, breathing in water, you really can move a lot of energy, lots of energy. So that's what I do in late July here in Nashville. So that's
Perfect.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you so much. And Melissa, you've got the 1-1 portal event. We've got the link there. Anything else you want to share briefly?
And I have a mystery school. Our next round of the mystery school starts in April. I'm doing a retreat in Egypt for 12 days, March 1st through the 12th. I'm a channel for several of the archetypes that come through that, and is part of what we teach in the mystery school. So we have an incredible experience there. But if you just sign, even if you don't, the 1-on-1 portal class, that'll get you on my list. I do free ceremonies every month, and I do all sorts of cool stuff. We have a membership for different things. There's all sorts of cool stuff, but just join me for a free class and come check out my shit.
Yeah. If you just join Melissa's email list, you'll get all of her different things that come out, and it's very informative. And Juliana, you have a monthly email as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Asia, do you have one coming out? Do you have a monthly email? I don't think I'm on that one.
I do a bi-weekly, the Creatrix Chronicles. So I have an email list, and bi-weekly I kind of just throw about, 2 things, every 2 weeks. So
Now, one of the things, because a lot of you guys, we all have programs in different ways. And so it's just great I love, you can sign up for too many sometimes, but I just love to see what other people are doing because it inspires me. Maybe I want to participate, but it's just like inspiring. And then I get to, when I receive the email, I even kind of like bless them and go, okay, yes, I don't know how much my little blessing helps, but it's like, bless, what Juliana's doing, bless what Melissa's doing. This may it be prosperous,
that's what I do with Melissa's emails. I get her emails and I'm like, go on, girl.
Yeah. That's good. Good. It's so great to be with you guys. You guys are awesome. And if you guys haven't checked out Sandy D's interview and Shelly's articles, an interview on the website on Awakened Magazine, really encourage you to do that. And G's got a great program too. Encourage you to follow him on LinkedIn. He's got a video podcast where he does some great interviews as well. So it's great to be with you guys. I'm excited about 2025. It's just going to explode. Like, I just really believe that what all you guys are doing, I just believe in you. You guys are all doing great things, and I'm excited to be along on the journey with you. So, yeah. So you guys have
much for this space, David.
Yeah, of course. We'll keep doing it each month with different ways that we can invest in one another, and just encourage you guys. Have a great night. Have a great holiday season the next couple weeks. So it's good to be with you.